Hi, I'm Odell Borg. The other day, a good friend of mine, he said something interesting to me. He said, you've been making flutes now for almost 30 years, and you ever get bored? And we were just having a kind of personal conversation around just our work. And I was sort of taken back by now. I'm like, yeah, I don't think so. I don't think, it doesn't feel like I've ever gotten bored. And I had to really process that afterwards. And I've certainly been in my life where I've done a certain the kind of work that I want. Yeah, I'm bored. I don't want to do that. But in this case, no. I went, I thought about it, and what I came up with was really that it has to do with creativity. That on a daily basis, I just it feels creative to me. And it's kind of, creativity is the juice of life. I get that. And we always look at creativity as, a musician, a poet, a painter. Yeah, and those are very obvious aspects of creativity. But I'm talking about the daily aspects of creativity, the daily process of creativity. And, I realized that we aren't even aware of how creative we are, especially when we start to do things that we really care about, that we like, we enjoy. It kind of gives us that creative juice. It's like the cream. And like, for instance, a nurse, he or she, they have a patient, the patient's in pain, and they're compassionate about that, and they go, no, and they do something to help the person with that pain. And they may not even be in the process of thinking of it as creativity, but the mere fact that they enjoyed their job and they're also compassionate about this person, they come up with an idea and they activate it. And it makes them feel good because the patient's no longer in pain, or at least minimized. And that is an aspect of creativity. A janitor at a school, he clean the floors, but make sure, I want to keep the floors clean, but I don't want somebody slipping on it. So it comes up with an idea and say, okay, I've got to do it a certain way. That's creativity. And I find it in relationship because, as a parent, you come home every day, and it's like you just want to come home and just chill out. And the kids are going, yay, Dad, or Mom is, so, and you're going, oh, I just want to relax. But I remember every once, that there was time I went like, these kids really love me, and I could see that they're excited. And I said, I've got to do something a little more here. And just come up with a real simple thing, I don't know, just pick up a pencil and I say, gosh, what we can do here, I don't know, just some activity, something doesn't have to be anything exaggerated, but it's an idea. It's a creative process that went ahead and bettered your relationship with them. Same thing with your loved ones. You you see them every day, and we're creatures of habit, and we just go ahead and follow through in that. And every once in a while, you kind of have a moment of going, you sort of feel like, something's way too routine here, and you kind of get a sense of that. And if it's just as simple as saying, just before you leave, or you come home and say, hey, I really appreciate you in my life. Thank you. Simple thing. You don't do it every day, and it's just this little thing. It is creativity. It's creativity at its actually its most practical. So I encourage all of us to recognize when we're creative on a daily basis, even those small things, because as we recognize them, we become a little bit more, actually get better at it. And when we recognize it, we also feel better about ourselves. So I think it's really important to remember creativity is the juice of life.